The latest revelation has shaken Los Angeles to its core. Luna is alive, and she was never really gone. For weeks, whispers stirred through Forrester Creations and the tangled social circles orbiting it. The mere mention of Luna had been enough to send shivers down spines and spark arguments behind closed doors. She had been declared dead, gone in a blaze of controversy and deceit, but now she's resurfaced with one goal: Will. Despite everything, despite warnings, threats, and even familial betrayal, Luna refused to stay hidden. Her return wasn't just a quiet step back into society, it was a storm. Even Lee, her own blood, couldn't look past the chaos Luna had already caused. At first, Lee believed in second chances. She had vouched for Luna, convinced others to keep her around, pleaded that there was more to her than manipulation and obsession. But once she learned that Luna was setting her sights on Will, her own son, the illusion shattered. Lee knew better than anyone what Luna was capable of. She had seen the fire in Luna's eyes, the hunger to rise above her past, no matter who she had to burn to do it. Lee confronted her. It wasn't subtle, and it wasn't kind. "You're not going to that party," she had snapped, standing between Luna and the door. But Luna, as always, didn't listen. She never did. No matter the warnings, no matter the pleas, Luna had made up her mind. The party was her stage, and Will was the prize. She believed she could charm him, win him, and most importantly, oust Elektra once and for all. And so, against all reason, Luna went. Masked, dressed in striking black with silver accents, she moved through the crowd like a ghost from the past. No one recognized her at first. Why would they? She wasn't supposed to be breathing. But that was part of her plan. She'd hide in plain sight, draw Will in, seduce him back, and remind him who truly held his heart. Elektra had already sensed something was wrong. She wasn't a fool. Her intuition, sharpened by a lifetime of betrayal and survival, screamed that someone was watching her. Will was distant, distracted, and glancing too often at the woman in the silver mask. Elektra tried to dismiss it, blaming it on nerves, the wine, or maybe just her own insecurity. But when she saw him walk away with the masked woman hand in hand, slipping toward the terrace, her gut turned to ice. She followed them. The confrontation wasn't planned, but neither was the murder. It happened so fast. Will leaned into the masked woman, whispering something. She laughed softly, touched his face. Elektra burst through the door, drunk and enraged. "Are you kidding me, Will?" she screamed. Will froze, but the masked woman didn't flinch. She turned gracefully, deliberately, and that only pushed Elektra further. "Who the hell do you think you are?" No answer. Just a smirk. The smirk that had haunted Elektra in dreams and memories. And that's when it all spiraled. Elektra grabbed a bottle of wine off the bar half full. In a blur of motion and fury, she smashed it against the masked woman's head. A sickening crack echoed. Blood sprayed. The woman collapsed instantly, the mask still partly intact, her hair soaked red. People rushed in. Screams tore through the music. Someone yelled for help. But in the chaos, something strange happened. Someone removed the mask, perhaps expecting to see a stranger, a new threat. But it was Luna. Luna. The one they buried. The one they feared. The one they hated. It was her. The shock was total. No one moved. For a moment, time stood still. People backed away in horror, not from the blood, not from the violence, but from the impossible. Luna was supposed to be dead. A fire, an explosion, something final. There were even pictures, a body, a funeral. Yet here she was, still warm, still breathing, but barely. The crowd didn't react like they should have. No one called 911. No one checked her pulse. No one ripped their jackets off to stop the bleeding. It was as if the collective mind had snapped. They remembered every manipulation, every lie, every pain Luna had caused, and in that brief window, less than a minute, they made a choice. They let her die. She gasped once, shallow and wet. Someone said, "Don't touch her." Another added, "She shouldn't be here." A third voice muttered, "Maybe it's better this way." Will was frozen too. Torn. Shattered. He dropped to his knees beside her but did nothing. Too afraid to touch her, too ashamed to defend her. By the time Lee arrived, it was over. She pushed through the gathering, her eyes locking immediately onto the lifeless body sprawled across the marble floor. She saw the blood, the broken glass, the empty stairs. She knew before anyone spoke. "No," she whispered, kneeling beside Luna. "No, no, no, what did you do?" No one answered. She looked around, wild-eyed, searching for a face that could offer an explanation. But there were none. Only silence. And blood. And the realization that her niece, no matter how troubled, no matter how destructive, had died alone, surrounded by people who once pretended to love her. The aftermath was ugly. Electra, sobbing and inconsolable, was taken away by security, her hands still stained with Luna's blood. Some said it was an accident. Others whispered that Electra knew exactly what she was doing. Will didn't speak to anyone. He locked himself away, unreachable. The Forrester estate fell into a hush of shame. Reporters caught wind of the scandal within hours. Rumors spiraled. Luna faked her death to stalk Will. Electra planned it all. The party was a trap. Will knew. Lee knew. No one knew the full truth, and no one trusted anyone else. Autopsy reports were delayed. Surveillance footage mysteriously disappeared. Witnesses changed their stories. But the biggest question remained unanswered. How did Luna survive in the first place? Where had she been all these months? Who helped her? And most disturbingly, what had she been planning for Will? Lee, now consumed with guilt, began her own investigation. She dug into old contacts, reviewed Luna's files, spoke to people off the grid. What she found terrified her. Luna had never left Los Angeles. She had been living underground, changing her identity, working with a network of hackers and manipulators. She had planned her comeback down to the second. Will was just the beginning. Electra was the obstacle. Lee herself might have been next. Luna was building something, a new life, a new power structure, and possibly a revenge plot that would have changed everything. Her death didn't just stop a woman. It may have prevented a war. But even that didn't bring comfort. Because now there are whispers of a journal. Hidden, encrypted, scattered across devices that may still be in the hands of her allies. A few believe Luna left instructions. Some believe someone else will pick up where she left off. Others think it's over. But Lee knows better. Because when she looked into Luna's eyes, just before the last breath escaped her body, she saw something. Not fear. Not pain. But triumph. Luna died smiling. And that smile haunts everyone who was there that night. Lee was breaking. The sterile white walls of the emergency room, the beeping monitors, the flash of red on her gloves, it was all too much. She had seen trauma before. She had survived horrors most people couldn't imagine. But this was different. This was Luna. Her niece. Her blood. Her responsibility. And now Luna was fading, inch by inch, minute by minute, slipping away as the staff scrambled to stop the hemorrhaging that just wouldn't end. The blow to Luna's head had caused massive trauma. The bleeding wouldn't stop. She had already gone through 2 transfusions, and it still wasn't enough. There was no match fast enough, no donor close enough, no time to wait. Lee knew what had to be done. She had been avoiding it for too long. But now? Now there was no choice. She pulled out her phone with trembling hands and called Finn. He answered on the first ring, and the sound of his voice cracked something deep inside her. "I need you," she said, without preamble, without pride. "It's Luna. She's dying." There was silence on the line. Then, what happened? "I can't explain it now. She's lost too much blood. We don't have a match here. We're out of time. Please, Finn. Please. She's your daughter." That word hit like a gunshot. For a moment, Finn didn't speak. Lee could hear his breath catching. She had never told him, not really, not directly. There had been secrets, whispers, awkward silences, but never the full truth. But now it was out. And there was no taking it back. "You're saying," he began, his voice tight. "She's yours," Lee said, her voice cracking. "I should have told you sooner. I was trying to protect you. Protect your life. But she needs you now. She needs your blood." Silence again. Then, "Where are you?" Within minutes, Finn was at the hospital. No hesitation. No conditions. He walked through the doors like a man possessed, demanded to know where Luna was, and ordered the staff to prep him for an immediate transfusion. As he sat in the chair, before being inserted, his eyes stayed locked on the trauma room window, where Luna lay motionless under the harsh fluorescent light. "She doesn't even know me," he muttered. "She will," Lee whispered. "If she survives, she will." The transfusion began. Slowly, steadily, his blood moved into her veins. It was a match. It was working. But the damage was extensive. Luna's heart had stopped once already, and they had brought her back. Another arrest could mean brain damage. Or worse. Still, Finn didn't waver. He gave everything he could, and then some. Lee stayed by Luna's side the entire time, holding her hand, whispering to her, begging her to come back. "She's strong," Finn said quietly, watching from the other side of the glass. "She has your fire. She has yours too," Lee replied. "That's why she's still fighting." But there was no hiding this. Not for long. The hospital staff were already whispering. Someone had seen Finn's chart. Someone had connected the dots. And someone had told Steffi. She wasn't supposed to be back for another 2 days. She had left town for a brief retreat, some much-needed space away from the chaos that had consumed their lives. But when the message reached her, Finn gave blood to save his secret daughter, she caught the next flight home. She didn't text. She didn't call. She just arrived, storming into the hospital like a force of nature, her heels clicking like gunfire down the sterile hallway. "Where is he?" she snapped at the front desk. "In Trauma Bay 3, the nurse stammered. Steffi didn't knock. She slammed the door open and found Finn sitting beside Luna's bed, his hand still resting near hers, his face pale from the donation, but calm. "What the hell is going on?" she hissed. Finn stood slowly, but he didn't back down. "Steffi, I was going to tell you." "When?" "Before or after you gave part of yourself to this girl." "Who is she, Finn?" "And don't lie to me." "She's my daughter." The words hung in the air, cold and sharp. Steffi's face crumpled into something unrecognizable. Hurt. Betrayal. Fury. "You have a daughter? And you didn't tell me." "I didn't know until today." "And your mother knew?" "Of course she did," she spat, turning to Lee, who stood quietly in the corner. "This whole family is built on lies." "She was dying," Finn said. "There was no time for anything else." "There's always time to tell the truth," Steffi snapped. "And now what? You think I'm just going to accept this? That you've been keeping secrets with your mother? That I'm supposed to sit here while you play hero to a girl who's tried to destroy everything we built?" "She's not what you think," Finn said. "She's a kid. And she's hurt. And I couldn't let her die." Steffi's eyes flicked to Luna's unconscious form. For a moment, something almost like pity flickered there, but it vanished just as quickly. "I want her gone. I want her out of our lives." "She's my blood," Finn said firmly. "She's not going anywhere." It was a war of wills now. Lee stood frozen, watching the two people she loved tear each other apart because of the choice she had made. The secret she had kept. The truth she had buried. But Luna was still alive. And that changed everything. What came next would tear the family further apart. Steffi would not forgive easily. She would not forget. And with Luna surviving, questions would multiply about her past, her motives, her plans. The public would demand answers. The press would circle like vultures. And Finn would have to choose, not between two women, but between the life he had built and the blood he couldn't ignore. The storm had only just begun.
Oh.